Thank you all for coming. Quick show of hands. Is this anybody's first time? Nice. Great. Cool. Well, tell your friends. We always looking for new members. So, I'm not going to read all these, but special thanks to all of our sponsors. Majority, or a vast majority of these people give us swag that we give away every week or every time we're here. So that's what's all over on that table, and we will do a swag draw at the end of the night. Hence the red ticket. So hold on to that red ticket. We are always looking for sponsors as well, so if you or your company would love to sponsor a meetup, please let me know. You can give me an email, or give me a shout. As well as please rate this meetup. We're always looking to see what you guys like, what you don't like, as well as Microsoft is always keen to see how many people are coming and what they think of our meetups, and it always reflects well if you guys leave us good feedback. So please do that at the end of the meetup. As well, we do have a job postings page on our website. So if you're looking for a job or have a job to fill, check that out. And we've been doing this lately. Is there anybody looking for work, or is there anybody's companies that is hiring? Anybody? No? Okay. Well, we'll keep going. Best way to find work is to through people that you know. So it's a good place to network. If you do know of jobs, or you're looking for a job, let us know. So a few upcoming events. Our next meetup is already scheduled. Sorry, that's a little small to read, but I'm trying to get everything in here. It's building a cloud-powered conversation bot. That's going to be at the meeting room A. It is.
Thank you. So the next person that does that, they have to actually talk for 10 minutes. Not a first time.
So we're going to be doing a cloud-powered conversation bot. Sage Franch is going to be coming from Microsoft Canada. She's a tech evangelist, and she's all into chatbots and stuff like that. So we are going to be meeting at the Queen Street North location, the downtown location, and that's Wednesday, April the 19th. So remember that we won't be here, we'll be down there. As well, London.net. Where is Tom? Tom's there. Tom runs the London.net developers. They have two meetups coming up. March 28th, they're going to be talking about supercharging Xamarin Forms, and then on April 25th, they're going to be talking about what's new in Visual Studio 2017.
Actually, that's moved it to 26, by the way.
So you changed it in the last day and a half?
Yeah, I do that. Just to throw you off your slides.
Okay, cool. Mississauga.net user group, they're meeting Thursday, March 30th, and they're going to be talking about EF Core as well as Microsoft Azure, something about data analytics in Azure, so you can check that guy out.
No big deal.
Hacker Nest, Monday, April the 10th at Atomic Labs, they're going to be holding a Hacker Nest meetup. That's the April one, and usually we have the number. I think they had almost 54 people already signed up for that, so if you want to check that out, please do. Internet of Things, anybody into IoT? Anybody know that Waterloo has like one of the largest IoT groups in probably Canada? These guys have probably over 1,500 members, and they get easily 150 people into a meetup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and they tend to do it in places where they serve beer. So that's kind of the allure. So if you're into IoT and you want to check that meetup out, or they don't meet every month. They meet probably 3 or 4 times a year, but they're always an event. So the next one is April 27th. So check that guy out if you're interested in IoT. As well, oops, did I skip one? I did have a WIT-Pro on there, but maybe it's not. WIT-Pro was also meeting as well. They're meeting end of March, and they're talking about Windows 10 deployment. Meetup.com/WIT-Pro, WWIT-Pro. A couple of final things. DevTeach Montreal is coming up. If you're interested in going to Montreal, it's the 375th anniversary of Montreal. They're also going to be the Jazz Festivals on. I'm going to be doing some talks there. They've given us a discount code, so if you're interested, there's $100 off if you use our discount code. So I will put that discount code on the meetup page as well if you're interested in traveling to Montreal for a conference. As well, Prairie DevCon is going to be June 6th and 7th this year. Early bird registration is already open, and it's available till April the 30th. I'm going to be there speaking, and so is Lori's going to be there speaking. So if you feel like coming up to Winnipeg, and it's in the summer, so you don't have to worry about freezing, you can come up to Winnipeg. So tonight's presentation, I realized it has the wrong title. We're not talking about Azure DevTools Labs. We're going to be talking about HoloLens, specifically HoloLens 2D development for, what was it, 3D apps for 2D developer.
Yes.
And so Bruno Capuano is going to be our speaker. Bruno is a technology lead for, is it Avonde?
Avanade.
Avanade?
Yes.
Okay.
Each country is different, so it's up.
Avanade? But he's also a hacker. He's into IoT and HoloLens, and he likes to dabble in all that kind of tech stuff. So, and Bruno's also been a Microsoft MVP for 10 years.
Yes.
So, yes. So please welcome Bruno Capuano.
Thanks, Ken. Let me start with a big sorry about my voice. I am enjoying my first Canada flu, which is kind of nice. I am already in the getting well section, but I am not as good as I wanted speaking. But again, quick intro. My name is Bruno Capuano. You can find me in Twitter and at Bruno. If the ones in the back can't see, let me. Now we have a little more space, so let me put this one here, move this one back. And as Ken said, I've been an MVP for the last 10 years. I was lucky enough to be renewed as a Canadian MVP this year. I work in Avanade. Avanade is a global company. Our two fathers are Microsoft and Accenture, so basically we get all of the technology and freakness for Microsoft and all of the business and sweet guys for Accenture. And it's been a nice ride. And the last year in Europe, I was living in Spain, and I was leading an innovation team, which basically I try to engage customers to get used to try new technology, new platform. I am always trying to do new things, and I moved to Canada to try to do the same stuff. Everybody said that I make the trip in the wrong direction. I moved from Spain, for the sunny and warm Spain, to the sunny but not so warm Canada. Anyways, this winter was not the winter I was expecting. It was very good. Everybody said, okay, let's stay here for a couple of years. And even if I am working a lot, if you look for me in the internet, you will see that I spent a couple of years talking about Lego and how we can do some stuff with .NET about Lego, and a lot of pictures with myself and my family. My two kids are very important for me. These are the key reason that we moved to Canada, so they can try something new. And also they are very happy to have a father which is so keen into technology. So because I changed the skyline from Barcelona for the one in Toronto, and it's been so fun, so far so good. So one of the things that I want to talk to you today is about the HoloLens. How many of you have tried the HoloLens as a device? How many of you know the HoloLens? Okay, so a couple of you are going to be in the bottom of the list to try the device. Because you really get, no, but the ones who already have tried, correct me if I am wrong, you really get the idea of the HoloLens when you put the device on and you start to play around. I can talk a lot, and I really like to talk, by the way. If you start to see that I am getting wet, I can't breathe, say stop and breathe. But once you put the device, you start to interact with the device, you really get the stuff. So I also want to start always explaining the main difference between virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, because this is something different. I don't know. 3-4 years ago, we were also starting to work with the Oculus Rift, with the DK1. It was a very costly device, but it was the first device that basically give us the sensation to work in a virtual world, and we can do it. It's no longer a $5,000 or $20,000 device. I think the first one is around $600 or $1,000 device, and we can start to work. And the virtual reality is basically, and the concept is you put the glasses on, and it's everything new. It works very, very great, based on my experience on Google Seed, in gaming, in entertainment. If you want to move somewhere to to Cancun, so that you can see the beaches, or if you want to see a big building, this is the place for virtual reality. So it's a very nice spot, and they are getting there. Right now there are two main devices, HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift, which are very, very, very good. Kind of expensive, but very good. The main issue that they have right now is not an issue, it's more like a challenge, is that these devices need to be connected with a wire to a very powerful machine. So you are going to see how I am complaining a lot about how slow it is to develop for the HoloLens. It's not because I am a .NET developer. I've been doing Microsoft and enterprise application for the last 20 years. I am usually work fast. I like to have all my unit tests there. I like to press S5 and work in the 3D world. is everything is slow. If you move something, if you want to change the label, this is not a bad machine, and I am going to show you later, but it's slow, so patience here. Oculus, right, this device, good, but you need to have a very powerful machine, and also very expensive one. Then you have augmented reality. I was very tempted to put here a picture of the Pokemon Go, because basically augmented reality was, everybody was talking about augmented reality, but nobody said that this, and 1.5 years ago, the Niantic people released to the App Store the Pokemon Go, and wow, you can see people walking around with the mobile, catching Pokemon. I need to go to outside to catch Pokemon with my kids. And it was a very crappy application. I don't know if you use. I mean, everybody when you talk about augmented reality, you see a picture of the Pokemon Go. And in the whole game, the augmented reality part was 15-20% of the game, and basically is you put your camera in your mobile phone or your tablet, and you will see the view of your camera, and in front of the camera you will see something projected. In this case, it's a Pokemon. But this was very crappy because if you move like this and go back, the Pokemon used to be there, but if you do this very quickly, it doesn't go very well. The Pokemon will be there, maybe not at all. But this is the augmented reality, and it has very good application. Right now, there are not much people doing stuff like this because it requires that you have a device and put the device in front of you. But there's something to do and to say here. And it's a sad sample, but yes, augmented reality today is still Pokemon Go. So it's the best way to explain this. And then we get the mixed reality. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a slice in Spanish. I'm so very sorry about this. I just realized that I used this one some time ago for a webcast. Okay, so how many of you can speak Spanish? I can. Okay, so this is the chance that you have to learn your Spanish now. I'm very sorry. Forget about this. And then you have the Microsoft Promise. The Microsoft Promise is that, and I realized in the third slide, so this is not the true 100%. I am half of my capacity today. The idea of Microsoft is that in the near future, you're not going to use a laptop or you're not going to use a phone. You're going to have glasses. And an example, if you want to go to Starbucks and do some work early in the morning, answer emails or whatever, you're going to go to the Tim Hortons, to Starbucks or whatever, you're going to sit, you're going to put your glasses, and this glasses is going to project stuff for you in front of you. You're going to take out a wireless keyboard, and you're going to start to write. And you're going to maybe have here a TV projection, maybe you are open Word and writing here, you open your email calendar and see what's happened there with your glasses. Nobody is going to see what you're going to do. If someone else is there and you want to share something, you can basically share this stuff with him or her, and the both of you are going to see the same stuff. But you're not going to be attached anymore to these devices. And the main idea is that this is a big device, kind of big. I don't speak ounces and pounds, but this is half a kilo, 500 milligrams. It's half a kilo, so it's kind of heavy. It's not very comfortable. But it's the first version. The next one is going to be much, much better. So this is kind of the idea. I imagine myself that getting home and listening to my kid that, again, a little history here. I was raised and born in Argentina. I lived the past 11 years in Spain. So my father and mother was from Italy. So I have the soccer, football, exploding in my mind. I am very fan of soccer. I was playing soccer all my life. My kids are very into soccer, so when I get home from work, he said, "Oh, have you seen the latest goal from Messi? Yada yada yada." When I get home in the near future using these devices, I will say yes. I will say like this. I will start to walk by, and I will have everything around me, a small TV, following myself, displaying this scenario, displaying the goal, displaying whatever. I don't need to go to my living room, sit, open the TV, search. It's going to be there. So the promise of the mixed reality is that you're going to have all of these scenarios in your daily basis, working with you with a device much more smaller like this. But it's going to have like this. It's going to have these features. Imagine that, I don't know, in the business scenario, imagine a warehouse manager who enters into the warehouse and see all of the package, all of the boxes there, and starting to see everything in green with a small overlay of green colors, and see something red there. And when you're getting closer, this red is getting expanded, and you start to see a couple of boxes here which are delayed to process or something like this. So sport part of glasses. This is kind of the idea of mixed reality, and this is the main focus of the HoloLens, of the device, of what Microsoft presented today. The HoloLens per se is a very nice device, by the way. It's expensive. Now everybody can buy it. If you have $4,000 plus taxes, you can get the development version. If you buy, I think the commercial version is over $6,000 with taxes and everything, and it have a couple of additional features, but the hardware is the same. But you can do plenty of stuff. So the main way to interact with the HoloLens is you're looking things here, and you're going to see virtual things. You're going to see holograms there. How do you interact with them? How do you tell the HoloLens that you want to do something with this one and not with that one? So to do this, basically, what Microsoft people did is they pick up the concept of the mouse cursor, the mouse that everybody knows, and they create what they call the gaze. The gaze is a small dot that it will follow you every time that you are moving your head. It will follow your point of view all the time. So if you're looking at this and you do something, it's going to interact with this. If you're looking at that, it's going to base it on your view. You're going to see, when we start to see the HoloLens, that the main thing is always looking and moving your head. This is something we still need to get used to, because we are very good with mouse, and also I am a keyboard fan with mouse, but now is your head the one which basically manages what you need to do. I am not sure it's going to be the latest, the final version of to do this. This is a path everybody is learning. But right now, the gaze is the way that we can point something that we want to interact. The next thing that we need to do is, when we are pointing to something, if we go back to the mouse analogy, and we have the cursor, what we need to do? We need to click. How we are going to click here? Using gestures. So what we have is what Microsoft called the art tab, which is when you are looking at something, you do something like this. If you do something like this in front of the HoloLens point of view, it will detect your gesture and it will interact like this. It will rise a click in the 3D world. And you can do click, 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 and it will always interact on what are you doing. And if you take a look at the gesture, this one is very similar that the one that the people in Apple have learned to add, but they cannot name this pinch or zoom in or zoom out, is art tab. And there are two main gestures to interact with the HoloLens. One is the art tab, which is doing like this, and the other is the bloom. When you do the bloom, you get the Windows menu. And with these two gestures, you can do a lot of stuff. If you ask me what I've learned doing applications in the last couple of years and final application, it's not a good exercise to do everything with the art tab. You get tired. Before doing stuff with the HoloLens I spent, if you look from the internet, you will see that I write a lot of stuff with Kinect. I was a very hardcore Kinect developer. I was basically saying that the Kinect is going to change the world. And here I am. I will kick out of Europe. So let's wait until HoloLens doesn't work to see if I go to Asia or wherever. But one thing that we learned with Kinect when we started to develop application is, do you know the Kinect device, how it works? Basically a camera which detects your body movements. We think that we are going to have applications and we are going to control application with our hands doing this and this and this all the time. This is an amazing idea. Try to stay with your hand like this over 5 minutes. It's going to have a lot of pain here. So we learn a lot that, okay, this is a very nice idea, but it's not a useful idea. With the art tab, it's similar. Right now, the art tab only works in front of your HoloLens. You need to do it like this, like this, like this, like this. You can also do click and move, click and pinch, but it's tired. So we are using, and I will show you an example later, additional devices. My idea here is that you are going to see something there, and you're going to have a tablet here, an example, and do some stuff with the tablet, or you're going to have an Xbox controller. I have a sample for you that I will share with you, and you're going to interact using an Xbox controller. Lucky for us, the Xbox people have over 10, or I don't know, I can't remember who was the first Xbox released, but they have over 10 years of working in ergonomics. So the Xbox, to do this stuff, is very comfortable. But interaction, using gestures. Voice. This is also a very good one. We can use voice commands. The device has a couple of microphones, so you can say, hey Cortana, take a picture. It will take a picture. You can program if you already have created a couple of applications using voice gesture, voice commands. It's the same concept. The main challenge here is that we need to wait, or we need to take advantage of technology so they become powerful to understand your voice. If you are developing your app at home with your own commands, it works amazing. Then you go to a big venue with a lot of people and you want to do a demo, and it's never going to work. You have a lot of noise, you have a lot of different voices, and some devices like the Amazon Echo really work like this. Microsoft Cortana voice recognition is good, and they have now the CRIS, the custom recognition intelligence service, which basically help us to get there. But voice is also one of the things that we can do, and it's getting there. One of the first samples that we created was all voice command guided, and it was a mess. It works very good when we are developing. We never would make it work at bank because my English is not good at all, but it works with me. But if we take out the HoloLens and put in other people, it won't work. And you get very frustrated when you say, start, and start to yellow, when the people start to yellow, and they start to yellow with a $5,000 device in your face, start! Voice command.
How does it work with Spanish?
The Spanish is working great, but the Spanish is much more complicated because it's working right now. I can't remember the same available language that you have in Cortana for Windows is the one that you can use here, because basically, and I am going to get there, what we are going to create for the HoloLens is a Windows application, a universal Windows platform application. So everything that we can do there, almost everything, we can do here. So if we can use the Cortana speech commands in Spanish, in Arabic, in French, in English, we can do this also for the HoloLens. It's a Windows 10 device, by the way. I didn't get it. Also, and this is a very cool one, we have the HoloLens have these speakers here, which use a technology which I never remember the name, but basically give us the sensation of have this spatial sound. So I can put the hologram there, or I can put a sound there, and I will listen to the sound. If I move away, if I move my head, the sound will always be there. If I get closer, the sound will be bigger. If I get far, I will lose the sound. So sound is very important. It also It's also opened us the capability to do different things. We were talking with the people who knows a lot about learning and education, and they said to us something which basically breaks the way that I was thinking in doing application. It says, the humans, there are a couple of ways that we can do this, but the human basically learn new things in 3 ways. By looking, by listening, and by touching. This is the 3 main inputs that we have. There are others, but this is the 3 main, and this has been like this in the past 10,000 years or whatever. I am not an expert in this field. With this device, you can basically fake, you can basically mock 2 of these inputs. We can basically create something which is not there here, and you're going to see that if I put the hologram here and I start to move around, it will always be here. I can listen to this one, but I cannot touch this one. So, how we are going to create experience with this? How we are going to make this into the real world when I can still touch stuff? It's very important. And to have this spatial sound is very useful also. And finally, and this is the key point for the HoloLens, is spatial mapping. One thing which is very good about the HoloLens is that the HoloLens is a completely wireless device. So you don't need to be connected to anything. It's a full Windows PC. It has an Intel processor inside. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM. I can't remember. I think it's 64 gigabytes of storage. It has here a couple of mini connects to do the spatial mapping. So when you're starting to look around, it will start to map where you are. It's starting to create what is called a space. And when you're starting to move around, it's also going to basically doing a lot of intelligent calculation to see where are you in this space, and it's starting to adjust everything that is virtual there, the sounds, the hologram there. And everything there is performed using what they call the spatial mapping. And it's amazing. I tried other devices, and if you know the HTC Vive, in the HTC Vive you need to put your glasses. It's not the glasses, it's a big helmet. And you can put in the wall or near you a couple of sensors which are going to track you and you can move. But you need to be connected with the wire. You need to do some stuff. This sensor also going to track your hands. This is all here, and it works very, very nice. Microsoft had here also, and they didn't release a lot of information about this. Has what they call it HPU, holographic processor unit. It's kind of the CPU, the graphic view, and the HPU. Nobody knows what it is, but it's basically the one who are doing all of this calculation. And also it has a lot of work to do in the cloud. You need to be connected. You can use this without any connection to the internet. But you are connected to the internet, you're going to have a much better experience. So then, the nice things about the HoloLens is that when you put on in the glasses here, it's going to project the holograms, so you're going to see the holograms. The field of view is kind of small, but if you forget about this, you're going to interact with this. But for me, the two things which basically differentiate this device to the other is how good it reacts to the stuff. If I put something here, I can move around. I can go there, back here, and it's going to be here, and the sounds, because the sounds is just the same. So that's the main two differentiation for the HoloLens. So what I am going to do here is I'm going to show you a couple of things about how the HoloLens works. So, as I said, this is a Windows 10 device. And because it's a Windows 10 device, what you need to do here is you need to connect this device to the internet so I can project. It has in the front a camera, it has the sensors, and once it's connected, let's wait that it's connected, what I can do is use an application to see what is the HoloLens seeing right now. So it will take a couple of seconds. Now this is a Windows application you can download from a store, and when I connect to the application, let me click it again, I can see a live stream of what the HoloLens are projecting. So once the HoloLens is projected, let me slow down the quality. Yes, I'm sorry. I hope that every one of you is going to allow to be recorded. This is a camera. I am putting basically GoPro here for this. So this is the moment when I started to do, and I had a big head. When I started to do crazy things in front of me. I'm very sorry. And you're going to see. Okay, so this is what we call kind of a 2D frame, a login frame with a pin. And if I started to move around, it's going to move with me. So if I move my head here, you will see that move here. There is a couple of delays between what I am doing and what you are seeing there. But then I need to interact, so I will do an eye tap, and you will see that I have a keyboard here. Please do not share my pin with anyone. The pin is very complicated. It took me a lot of time to me to understand what I am doing. But once I started to do this, I will get my Windows 10 menu here, and let me close the Windows 10 menu, and you take a look that, can you see the small mesh that is created every time that I am clicking in the floor or in the wall. At this moment, basically, it's showing to me what is he doing, what is the HoloLens doing in the spatial mapping stuff. So this is the 1, 2, 3 we can do. The nice thing here is, in example, open the Windows 10 menu. This is the blue gesture. And from here, what I have is applications. Oops, not. I can scroll down. I can take a look at the application. There are a couple of custom ones. But let's start with the basic, which is put here a gallery of holograms. You see that if I move my head around, it will follow me, and when it detects that there's a flat surface, in this case the wall, it will try to put there as it was as a frame with a 2D application. And this application is a 2D application, which is basically a gallery of holograms. So it's all loading the holograms. Let me pick up a planet. I would put a planet here. And everything here to share with you what I am going to plan to do, which is I can move around, and the planet is always there. And this is very, very cool. And also, if I pick up, and let's go for the annoying tweet here that we have, I can put a beard here also, on top of someone. And you're not going to listen to this, but if I click on the bird, it's starting to tweet. Let me mute this one.
Bruno,
Yes.
one thing you keep talking about is the positioning of the holograms. So I'm going to assume you've tried other technology, and you're finding that this one is the most reliable for keeping things positioned, as far as where the holograms are positioned.
In my opinion, the ones that I'm trying is the. I haven't tried the Meta. The Meta 2 is right now the HoloLens, and this is kind of a side story. By the way, feel free to interrupt me. Feel free to ask me questions. I am here to try to share with you everything that I know. Microsoft said that they are not going to share the version 2 of the HoloLens, which was planned for this year, because they have no competition, basically like this. The big competition was Magic Leap, but kind of nobody knows what is going to happen there. They have a lot of money, but they don't have a product. And they're saying this because this product works really, really great in the mapping. And doing what I just do is walk around and see the stuff here like this is great. The other technology works very nice, but in example, right now the Oculus and the HTC Vive have something which is called, you need to play game at 19 frames per second, and that's it. And you need to be very, very, very accurate / precise in the way that you create your application. Because when you enter into the virtual reality, yes, world, if you move your head like this, but the world that the application is presenting to you is moving slower than you are seeing, your head will going to see what's happening here. I remember the first thing that we created when we created an Oculus Rift game. It's not a game; it was an application. Was something that you can move your head and see the world, and we can also control the world with an Xbox controller. So it was crazy that if you move your head like this, but the world is doing like this, well, I have a colleague which basically you fall down. You are not ready to do this. I am 22 years old. You can see that I'm a young guy. So in my 40 years that I'm living, my head, no, that if I'm moving my head like this, I am going to see this. If you move your head like this, and this is slower, you're going to start to feel something different. The same with the positioning. This one, because that's why I think the mixed reality is much more user-friendly. Because you are not presenting everything virtual. You are anchor new stuff in the real world. And the positioning, going back to the positioning, compared with the other systems, is good, very, very, very great. And it was very, very great because you have these two main sensors here. Yeah. So if I want to basically crash my demo here, I need to put my HoloLens like this. It will kind of erase all of the info and I need to start from scratch. But all of the time that I am moving, it will react. So the little bird should be somewhere here, let me point to this one, so it's there. If I go here, there is the body. It works very, very great. I don't want to talk bad about the other products, but this one is great. The issue here, it's not an issue, is the current state of this one is this device is 2 years old. The field of view is very small. So people who use the other devices, which is wow, they say, but this is very small, yes, but if you forget about this and you start to see this, you see, oh, and you don't have any wires, you don't have any cable, you can walk around. The battery is used, I don't know, between 2.5, 3 hours. I never tested to see how much is going, but you can use these 2 hours for sure without any connection, and it's a Windows 10 device.
Well, I imagine the setup too is pretty quick. Like it didn't take you long to get going on that.
Yes, but in example, I can go for the settings, and if you know Windows 10, you will see that this is very similar to what you know in Windows 10, and I can go here to my Wi-Fi, I can connect to the Wi-Fi stuff, I can set up a proxy, so I can set up devices, I can connect by Bluetooth, I can do a lot of stuff, so it's a Windows 10 device. So we also have Wi-Fi, we also have Bluetooth, everything that you can do in a universal Windows platform apps, you can do it here. So it's very good as terms of the device, but you need not everything. So, for example, the share stuff, if you want to share to an email or some of the stuff, it's not available here. The universal Windows platform that you are creating, some of them you need to take some consideration here to work. But hey, it's part of the universal Windows platform. Create one and use it in desktop, laptop, mobile, Xbox, HoloLens, IoT, or whatever. So let me go back here. Also, it was broke. So this is kind of the horror. Oh, I'm sorry. This is kind of the quick intro to the HoloLens. I forgot about one thing. One thing is that the nice thing also about this is, and I started to get comfortable here, is that this is a Windows 10 device. How do you know? How many of you knows Windows 10 application? So basically, if you install a Windows 10 device, you can enable the the developer portal, and the developer portal will show you something like this. This is the correct IP. Here it is. So it's going to show you a browser, a portal where you can do some stuff like you can install application from here, you can go here and install apps directly from here. Let me put this one in. You can take a look at the file explorer. So this is something that is basically enabled for any Windows device. I can enable this for my machine here in for developers. I can enable the device portal with my IP. I can also get here. But in the case of the HoloLens, have a couple of nice things here. Like an example, it has a live 3D view of what is the HoloLens doing. So I'm going to share with you. It's kind of very slow. Is all the time is basically showing what is the HoloLens doing here. So if I move the device around, you will see that I can see the point of view. I can update or save the spatial mapping that what it's doing. So right now, I didn't want to do this because it's taking a lot of time, but I can create a 3D model of this room and save it and use it later in Unity, an example, or other tool to work in this model, so I can avoid this. So it's a full device, you can do a lot of stuff. I can also from here, you remember that I used this app to control the HoloLens, but this one is for developer, and in the mixed reality capture, I can go there and see what I want to do with my with my HoloLens. So I will see a portal here when I can enable, let me put this and this. I can enable live preview, and from here I will see again the point of view of the camera of the HoloLens. 1, 2, 3, magic is there, and somewhere here should be the map. Take a while. Where is the? Here it is. The red world is there. So I can do a lot of stuff from here. I can take photos here. I can do. This is kind of a developer portal where you need to do where you're going to do stuff. So let me go back here. I will close this one. I will keep this one on, and the developer portal is very important because there will be some time that you need to go there to shoot down the HoloLens, reset the HoloLens, or do some other stuff. So before we switch to the nice thing, which is how we create application for the HoloLens.
So you said that Spanish is more complicated than English when you use voice.
Yes.
It's because of the language structure. Yeah?
Yes.
Like Latin languages are more complicated than English.
It seems so. I can't speak about this because my native language is Spanish, so it's not difficult for me. But it also was easy for me to learn Italian, another language. But the people who knows about this say that Latin language is just more difficult.
How expensive is setting up the development environment, just the hardware before getting to the software part?
The developer environment? I am going to talk about this, what is the tools that you need.
And the
Yes, of course. In expensive times, you need $4,000 plus taxes. The other tools are free. But and a Windows machine. But remember this because I talk a lot with my wife. $4,000. $4,000, yes, but it's $4,000.
Actually, that's a very good question. How did you get approval for that? That's a very important question. I think everyone wants to know that.
It'll pay for itself in the end.
Yes.
Blog about it.
It's about that time. Is this a good break? Is this a good time to take a break? Or do you want to?
Let me go faster here, 5
Sure.
minutes,
Sure.
only
Okay.
before we go to the demo. Also give me some time in the break to set up everything for the
Sure.
demo.
Okay.
So, 2 types of applications in the HoloLens, as you see. I have the 2D applications, which is basically friends and what you need to do. So, 2D applications are universal window platform. I have here one. I will show you, but you can create an application. This is the app that I created. Basically, you click here in the label, displays a message here, you click a message, you get a pop-up with a standard message box. And that's it. Dialog message, I'm sorry. That's it. You don't have anything here. In the HoloLens view, it's the same frame. When you click here, you have the label. When you click the message, you have the message. But this is universal window platform. And right now, the HoloLens device can basically play. You can put a lot of 2D applications in front of you, but only 3 of them can be active at the same time. When you put the fourth one, the number 1 is going to go into suspended state. If you put the 5th one, the number 2, if you click back on this one, then this one is going to be into suspended state. There are some tricks there to make it work, but there are a lot of things that we can do here. Because as I said, notice you can do mix between holographic and 2D, but 2D applications are there, and you can create a 2D app for a laptop, which also works there in the HoloLens, and it's great. So I really don't. Most of the people go directly to Unity and develop in Unity, and I said, wait, what do we need to do? Why do you need the HoloLens? 2D apps are something which is you can create application and have nice experience here with 2D apps. So I will show you if you want the. I am not going to show you how to create. How many of you know how to create a Windows application? And I can show you the code. So okay, I won't go there. You only need to create an app, add some code. I will show you the code, and I will show you how it works here and there, so you can take a look. And the next one, after the break, I'm going to show you how to create with Unity, basically. So if we want to have the break here for 15 minutes, 10 minutes,
Yeah, 10 minutes.